As a co-creator of RuneScape, Paul Gower is responsible for most of the original lore that can be found in RuneScape. A few years ago, the player Rap, who is one of RuneScape's 4 original alpha testers from the year 2000, went through his old IRC chat files from 2002 and showed me a detailed description of RuneScape's lore as imagined by Paul Gower at that point in 2002. So I contacted Paul and asked if I can show it in a video, and he said yes, so thank you, Paul. That said, given that I do not really have a great voice for narration, I looked for someone who does, and the first name that came to mind is His Lordship, whom you may recognize from the Wilderness Guardians clan that has existed since the RuneScape 1 era. And it turns out that His Lordship was happy to narrate Paul's original lore for this video, so thank you very much. But before we get to that, the giveaway, let me know in the comments who your favorite RuneScape lore figure is. At the end of the month, I will pick one lucky winner who will receive a free copy of my ebook trilogy of 1,000 pages about the development of RuneScape since its original creation. Okay, so now it's time for me to shut up and to let you listen to Paul Gower's original lore, narrated by His Lordship. Perhaps a quick tip, try to compare how Paul's version deviates from the lore that eventually ended up in RuneScape, so the lore that is in RuneScape today. Here we go, enjoy!
RuneScape is set in the 5th Age, in the year 169, though you could work that out roughly from what is said in the Shield of Arav quest. Well, the shield was stolen in the year 143, and it's returned roughly 25 years later, as said by the museum curator. Proper recorded history only dates back to the 4th Age. Time before that, it was shrouded in myths and legends. Stories before then tell of great, powerful entities and agents of the gods fighting cataclysmic wars during which humanity could only just cling to survival. Magic probably came to the land at the start of the 2nd Age. The next part in Paul's recorded history goes along the lines of the end of the 3rd Age, which was said to be denoted by an agreement made by the great gods Saradomin, Guthix, and Zamorak to not fight their wars on this fragile land, for fear they would totally destroy it. Zamorak is evil and chaos, Saradomin is pureness and piety, Guthix is balance and nature. They agreed to hold influence on the world only through their worshippers and servants among the lesser races. Suddenly, the humans found themselves in a world of opportunity where they could carve out a niche for themselves, but they found there were many races in the same situation. Goblins, ogres, dwarves all vied for the land. The 4th Age was mostly characterized by what amounted to tribal wars of the lesser races. Basically, no one had supremacy in these wars for many centuries, until human mages stumbled upon ancient runic magics. The strongest of the mages worked great magics with this newfound knowledge, and they set up a great tower of wizardry. They made many runestones, so that less accomplished mages could also work powerful magic. Virtually anybody with any small amount of magic ability could do something with these runestones. The humans were now strong and conquered much land, setting up the kingdom of Misthalin. This marked the start of the 5th Age. Soon these runestones were spread to neighbouring tribes, and Kandaren and Asgarnia came into existence. Smaller human strongholds were set up in Al-Kharid, Karamjar, and Crandor, but then disaster struck. At this time, the wizards allowed followers of Zamorak in amongst their members. At a summit in the wizards' tower, most of the powerful wizards were gathered, but the Zamorakian mages caused a great fire, razing the tower to the ground. Most of the great wizards were killed, as well as their great library destroyed, which stored the key to much of their power. Still, there were plenty of runes left in the world. Enough that the existing kingdoms were able to adequately defend themselves from invaders, though the wizards no longer wished to let any more get their hands on this power. Much of the rest of the world remained as it had before, with bands of humans battling other races. The humans outside of the kingdoms came to be considered to be barbaric, as the humans inside grew civilized within the kingdom's protection. Following their dreadful dead, the followers of Zamorak became, in most kingdoms, outcasts, who had to hide away from the rest of the world, though the Black Knights of the Kingdom of Asgarnia still held much political sway in that land. The world was in relative equilibrium for the next 150 years, but now the wizards are worried that their most powerful runes that they had used to set up the wards around the kingdoms are running low. The enemies of Misthalin, Asgarnia and Kandaren are beginning to find footholds in these lands again, within dark corners everywhere. New heroes must arise to maintain order and to stop the collapse of civilization under the forces of evil.
Okay, so that was Paul's original RuneScape lore from 2002, narrated by His Lordship. I do not know much about RuneScape lore, so I really can't discuss the lore itself and how it may or may not be different today, but I did already show it to a fan of RuneScape lore, and she did tell me that there are definitely some differences, so feel free to discuss those in the comments. Is there anything that surprised you, or anything that stands out in any way? That's all for this video. If you know any lorehounds, consider sharing this video with them. Also, liking and subscribing always helps this channel, so I appreciate that very much. If you want more nostalgia and more history, check out my other videos, my social media pages, or join my Facebook group called RuneScape Memories, where you can share and discuss all your RuneScape memories. With more than 75k members, we're one of the biggest RuneScape communities on Facebook, so it's like drowning in an ocean of nostalgia. Oh, and don't forget about the giveaway, by the way. Thank you for watching, and see you later.